Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is I'm Corey and this is Seth, and we're here to show you the Trinity clutch kit today that we're going to install on Seth's General. We sell this on the website and wanted to give you a rundown of how this works.
And the rollers.
And the rollers.
Alright guys, we already took the wheel off because it's taking the wheel off. On a General, on the 19s, and I'm pretty sure on the older ones too, it's pretty easy to get to. You take the bed up. You can take it all the way off. You don't have to. You can reach it with the tire on too. I just did this so it's easier to get on camera. A 5/16 socket gets your clutch cover and your clutch secondary intake off, and then we can cut over to getting the belt off and getting everything pulled off. Alright, we got the clutch cover off. Now is to just work the belt off. You gotta expand your secondary and allow it to drop in to get it to roll over. You'll see while we're doing it. Okay, got the belt off. First I'm going to take the secondary off, and then we'll get the tool to take the primary off and get it off while we're at it. Alright, we're to the point where we've got to get the driven clutch off. It is on very tight. I don't have a breaker bar, so I'm using a cheater pipe on a cheap ratchet. We'll see if it explodes. But this is the part where it's kind of scary because you don't know if you're going to break something or what, and it's going to pop off really hard. So here we go.
Alright guys, now we're going to go over some of the parts we're going to use today. First off, we are going to go over the clutch compression tool. This tool here is from Trinity Racing. It is on our website. The first thing you're going to find when you open the box is the instructions. It does actually walk you through how to use this product if you've never used one before. They're pretty simple. We're also going to go over it in the video here. When you open the box, you have this big honking clutch compression tool. It's pretty simple to use. We'll go over that in just a minute. Set this down here for just a second. Next thing we're going to go over is the Trinity Racing Stage 5 clutch kit. This is an oversized tire clutch kit, so it's designed for 32-inch tires, which is what we have on this machine. Open the box here. In the box, you're going to see you get a new belt. You're going to get 2 springs and your weights. So this is what actually helps the clutch engage a little better on these bigger tires. You also have an instruction set in here that gives you the installation procedure for this and how everything goes. You can watch the video and we'll show you that as well.
Alright, we've got our driven clutch here on the bench, our makeshift bench with our bench vise, aka vice grip, C-clamp. Before you put it in, you need to basically mark your 2 halves, so that way when you put it back together, it's back the way it was. That way you don't have any misalignment issues. You can run into issues with tearing up belts, weird shifting things when it's not put back the way it was built, because these are built as a married pair from the factory, so you have to put it back the way you found it. So the best way, use a Sharpie. We're going to mark the 2. There's the X on here, so I'm just going to take a mark on the 2 halves, and then we can put it in the puller here. like so. Then we'll get our tools and we'll actually get to breaking the halves apart. All right, we've got our primary locked in the compressor. We've got it compressed down a little bit. Go ahead and take these bolts out, and then we'll release the spring out of it. All right, so we got all our bolts loose. We're gonna go ahead and release the tension and get the spring and the weights out. There's our tool, our top half, and our factory spring. Now we'll go through, we're gonna clean it up real good. We're gonna take all the rest of it apart and replace all these weights. All right, so we got the top half off. We're gonna go ahead and get these weights pulled out of here. So use an Allen wrench or an Allen adapter like we have here, and this nut on the back side. So here is a good look at the differences. We've got a lot more weight to these new ones. Obviously, they look much better, but the higher weight is going to give you a higher clamping force, and along with your higher clamping force, your new spring is going to be stronger to basically match your weights. We'll finish getting these pulled out, and we'll get it cleaned really well. It is very dirty, very rusty, so you definitely want to make sure when you're done that everything is spotless. You don't want anything getting in your one-way bearing or anything like that. All right, we've got everything cleaned up. Scotch-brighted both the surfaces. Time to put the weights back in. So we're going to put our new weights in. They go in like so. Set them in place. Run your bolts through on this side. All right. Put our nut on there. Now they're all tight. Weights can move freely. All right, we've got our weights in. We'll go ahead and put our spring, our new aftermarket spring, and the top on. Get that kind of pressed down in there good. Make sure the marks that we made on this, right there, line them up with the marks. Put our compression tool. Alright, now we'll put our bolts in. Them all started. Make sure it's lined up properly. There we go. Okay, now we can relieve the pressure. We now have one completed primary clutch. Still lines up with the marks we made. It is a stage 5 now and ready for installation. We'll go ahead and get our secondary up here on the bench and get it swapped out. All right, so now we're ready to take the secondary apart. We're also doing the upgraded rollers on it. This model has the square putts, and mine is severely worn, so it really probably needs an entire secondary, but for now I'm just putting the clutch kit in it, the upgraded spring, and the rollers. So I've already got it in the compression tool, and I did check and make sure that these would back out fine on these Torx bit screws. So we'll go ahead and take those off and they are Loctited from the factory, so you definitely want to make sure you put good pressure on it. So now when we loosen this tool up, this helix should come right out. Here we go. Here's our helix. And here is that factory spring. And we will go ahead and take this time to clean this out, and then we'll show you how we're going to get those rollers out of there. Alright, so we had to make a quick trip to O'Reilly's to get the appropriate size pin punch, an 1/8 inch roll pin punch. Already drove the one side out, and I will show you getting this other side. It's pretty straightforward with the right tool. Just drive it out. There, it broke free. Now, there's the old pin. And then these can be a little difficult. I found the best, use channel locks. This shaft that the pucks ride on, it has a flat spot on two sides. So I just grabbed that. And there we go. And if you're just doing rollers, you just repeat the process. We're doing a whole kit, so I'm gonna go ahead, take it apart. And this is a really good time to clean it. Same as you did with the primary. Just clean it real good with like brake clean, hit it with a scuff pad, and then I will actually brake clean it a second time. I did mark the halves. Obviously it only goes two ways, but I did mark it that way. We make sure, put it back exactly the way it came apart. All right guys, we've got our old pucks out. These guys right here, they cause wear in these halves and can bind up. We've replaced those with the Trinity Racing round rollers. They're a composite material, so you still don't have metal to metal, and you've got a nice rolling surface. So install's the same as taking the old ones out. I cleaned everything up. We will line these up. Like so. Take our pins, set them down in there. And drive them back into place. There we go. And then we just do the other side the same way. Alright, we got our rollers in place. Now, time to do the spring. We got this all cleaned out. Got it scotch-brighted on the halves on the two different surfaces. So we will put it back in our compressor. Put our new Trinity spring in place. We'll then put this in. And then finally, the helix itself. I also went through, scotch-brighted these surfaces, cleaned them up real good, so we are all ready to go back together. We'll find our marks, put the rollers in the helix, put our compression tool back together, And we will tighten it all back down again. Once you get close, you want to make sure your screws are all lined up. You can kind of get them started just a touch, just to make sure nothing is bound up. You do want to use the compression tool to take it all the way down, just so you don't take a risk of getting anything twisted as it goes together. And there we go. We'll go ahead and get it released.
Well, y'all, we came out and did a little ride here at Sabine ATV Park. Had a good time. Both machines held up fantastic. The clutch kit made a huge difference. Dropped the RPMs a little bit, gave us way more torque. Definitely we're looking for those bigger tires. The new axle held up great, and we left without breaking anything. Can't have a better day than that. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe and like our page.